Hi, in this demo, I'll be introducing you to two new features, namely DSM configuration without storage and DSM MPIO recovery parameters. In earlier storage foundation releases, the ability to configure a particular DSM was only possible when the storage was connected to the host and managed under the DSM. This limitation has been addressed in the Golden Gate release under Windows 2008 Auto Platform only. Now we have the ability to configure any installed DSM without having storage connected to the host. Also, we have the ability to configure the DSM MPIO recovery parameters, which internally tweaks the MPIO parameters according to the user's specified values. Now let's move on to the live view of these features. These features do not have any GUI support, and as such all the operations are done via the command line. As you may notice in this VA GUI pane, there is no storage currently connected to this host. Now we shall configure all the DSMs installed on this system. For that, we'll open the command line and type in the following command. We'll be setting this load balance policy for all the installed DSMs. That's why the DSM name equal to all has been specified. Now as you can see, it's setting the policy for all the installed DSMs. Also, we'll be setting the SCSI 3 support for all the DSMs. Again, you can see SCSI 3 support has been set on all the installed DSMs. Let's verify what the attributes we have set are correct. This will fetch the attributes we just set for all the DSMs. As you can see, the SCSI 3 support has been set to 1 and the load balance policy is round robin. Now we shall enable the storage connection on this host, and as such the array will inherit the settings we just set for the DSM. From device management console, we'll enable the storage connection on this host. We shall have to wait for some time till all the disks are detected. As you can see in the VA console, two arrays have been detected, Hitachi DF600 and Hitachi Open Series, and another DSM tabs we have the respective DSMs claiming those arrays. So online the disks. Now let's verify if the storage array has actually inherited the DSM settings. As you can see, the load balance policy is set to round robin, which we had configured for the DSM. That means it has successfully inherited these settings from the DSM, even when the storage was not connected. Now we shall verify the load balance settings and SCSI3 settings are in fact working. For this purpose, we will create a cluster disk group on the disks from the Hitachi array. Now we'll check the reservation protocol used to reserve these disks under the disk group we just created. For this purpose, we'll be using SCSI command tool. Now you can see the disk is being reserved under the SCSI3 protocol. Again, this means that the configuration we had set for the DSM is being applied on the array successfully. Now we shall check the load balance policy is taking effect or not. For this purpose, we'll create a small volume on the disk from this array. We'll perform some I/O operations on this volume using the WinFax tool. Now to verify if the round robin policy which we had set is working correctly or not, we'll use the iostat command. Now as you can see, the I/O is flowing through across both the paths, which means that the round robin policy is actually working. That was about setting the DSM configuration without storage. We can also set the MPIO parameters for an individual DSM or all the installed DSMs. This can be done again via the CLI but this is not recommended as it can alter the behavior of the installed DSMs. Again, we'll be applying these parameters for all the installed DSMs. Once the parameters are set, we can again cross-check if the parameters have been set correctly or not, and we can retrieve these parameters using one more command. Using the CLI, get MPIO parameters. You can see it has fetched the settings, the MPIO parameter settings for all the DSMs installed. And here you can see the path verification enabled is 1 and path verification period is 25, which we had set for all the DSMs. This means the MPIO parameters were set correctly. This brings us to the end of this demo on DSM configuration without storage and MPIO recovery parameter features under the Golden Gate release. Thank you.